It's time now to check your money with America's Money Maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, good morning.
Good morning, George. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now, Vicki, you know, at the end of this week, we got a big day, Christmas Day. Are you ready? Are you ready,
George,
Vicki?
I'm as ready as going to be. I don't want you to ask me any more details, because if you ask me more details, I'm going to have to stretch the truth.
Okay.
But I will be ready, and Santa will be at my house on Christmas Day.
I know that's right. It's going to happen. It's going to be what it's going to be.
Exactly. Listen, today we're joined by a colleague of mine, which everybody can see this handsome, I'm going to say young man, okay, wink, wink. Okay, we're going to see this handsome young man here, who's another member of the Heritage Financial Partners team out of Atlanta.
ATL.
We introduced you to members of the team from Charlotte and from Syracuse, but now we're into Atlanta. Mr. Ivan D. Johnson, MS, LUTCF. And Ivan, I always start with this question. I see all of these letters behind your name. Tell me what they mean and what they stand for.
Well, it means my mama told me education was important.
Okay, right.
And so after graduating from the City University of New York, I went into banking, actually. And from there, I segued into the business. But I took a sabbatical after about 10 years, and I went back to school to obtain my Master's of Science. That's what the MS is, with the intention of creating video content. However, the outcome was quite different. I was led to become an educator in the inner city schools of New York Board of Education, because I had never had a Black male teacher until I went to college.
Wow.
So I was working with youth. The acronym for single parents who are raising young men, their fathers are SAM, silent, absent, and missing. So I was a mentor. And from there, I said, well, I'm going to teach school for a while. So that's where the MS comes from.
All right.
In the business, LUTCF actually means that you practice ethical business practices for insurance planning products and services.
All right. Okay. So you went from banking to educational instruction and design, back to financial services.
I went from banking to Wall Street.
Oh, okay. I knew that happened, and I want you to tell us about your experience there on Wall Street.
Well, I had a friend who I went to high school with, who you couldn't always believe what he said. So I was working for Citibank, and he says to me, come on down to my penthouse on Wall Street. I want to show you a few things. And I was like, your penthouse on Wall Street? Okay, I'm going to come have lunch with you, right? Because I really didn't believe this. And so I get down to 80 Wall Street, and they direct me to the elevator in the back, and it's at the foot of Wall Street. If you look down, you see the church, you see the stock exchange, and what have you. And this friend of mine said, I am a commodity broker, and I think that you would enjoy this. And so he went on to explain to me about options and futures and the business. And I gave Citibank my resignation. I said I could always go back to banking.
All right, then.
But Vicki, let me go back, because typically when we have guests on, you get their bio. So let's back it up a little bit. Where he grew up, and where did he go to school?
All right, then. So why don't you fill that in for us, Ivan? Where did you grow up, and where did you go as far as your matriculation process through school? Why don't you do that for us?
I grew up in the concrete jungle known as Harlem, USA.
Yay.
Actually, I lived in every borough of New York City except Staten Island. I'm a product of the City University system. And then when I went back to school, because I wanted to, I went to the New York Institute of Technology for my master's.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So now we've gone from banking to education to Wall Street, and now you're in Atlanta, Georgia, which you've been for a while in the financial services arena. How did you get to the financial services, financial planning arena from commodities, being a commodities broker, into more of a holistic planner there in Atlanta, Georgia?
Well, when I started in the business, people said to me, that's not a real job. But they always wanted advice for investments, right? But I dealt mostly with speculators, and the commodities arena, you deal with a lot of high net worth individuals, whereas it's a tax write-off if it doesn't go right, you know. And I say Merrill Lynch flirted with me when I was in New York, and American Express flirted with me when I was in New York, but I didn't like the offers that they were extending. So when I moved to Atlanta, a friend of mine was job searching. So I said, well, I believe in teaching a man how to fish. So I said, now we're going to go online. I'm going to use myself as an example. This is what you do, blah, blah, blah. Next thing I know, I'm getting all these responses back, and one of them was from American Express. And I said, I'd like to know where the financial district is in Atlanta. So I responded, and I went to American Express. They held me hostage, and I left there with an offer. And I said, I'm not living here yet. I'm just really, I have a house here, but I'm not living here fully. I'm still a New Yorker. They said, listen, we're going to give you this window, and we make this offer. And if you, because at that time I had to get my 7 and 66, because I had a 3. I didn't have a 7 and a 66.
What is this? These are licensing things?
These are licenses, yes.
Series
Okay.
3, right. So my real interest in coming into this arena formally was based upon helping family. Because I had a lot of family that were experiencing the transition from working to retirement, and they had a lot of questions, they had a lot of needs, and I was offering free financial advice, and I said, well, I can give it to my family free, but you're asking me to give it to other people too, you know.
Okay,
so
all right.
I might as well go back into the business. So that's how I really came back into the business.
All right, so the journey has had a lot of levels and a lot of different ins and outs as far as between banking, commodities, financial planning, investment management, and investment advice. If you could roll it all together to explain to someone who's considering a career in financial planning, what would you say are the key components to really making a good financial planner or in a financial planning relationship?
Well, in my experience, one of the most important things is not everything you have to offer, but to listen to what it is that's important to the person. Because I have acquired a number of clients simply because I listened and the other guy didn't listen. I know nobody's listening to me. So if you fulfill their need, then they'll be welcoming to hear anything else you have to say or to offer.
All right.
So that's very important. I believe a lot of people believe they have to sell. Well, actually, I have found, I used to talk to people on the telephone, not face to face. When I was in the commodities business, I talked to people around the country on the telephone. One guy said to me one day, stop, I've heard enough. I like your voice. Where do I send the money? And I'm thinking he's pulling my leg, right? I give him the address. Next thing I know, I've got a big check in the mail. And what was interesting is that we became more than client, customer. We became familiar with one another. We developed a rapport. And one day he says to me, when are you coming to see me? And I was like, he's in Denver. But I took a trip out to see him and some other folks. And I said to myself, I'm not quite sure about this guy because I've never seen him. He's never seen me. I'm going to take a look, and if I don't like what I see, I'm getting back on another plane. I'm walking past him purposely. He says, Ivan, I'm here. And I'm saying to myself, this is before we had Google and before we had Facebook and LinkedIn. How did he know who I was? You know, and I had one of the greatest relationships with him. And it was just because I listened to him, and it was because I didn't try to sell him. He did business with me because of the rapport that we established.
So then you're telling me that as far as a financial planning relationship is concerned and the skill set that's necessary to be a great planner, that it's about knowledge, training, the ability to listen, and the ability to be empathetic to the client that you're working with. Is there anything else that you would add to that list?
Well, you're going to be different things to different people. I've been told I'm a confidant, I'm a problem solver. I provide solutions for the different stages of life. People come to me for an opinion, a second opinion, or the opinion that matters. So it depends on who you may be. For some folks, especially my retirees and widowers and widows rather, I'm a caretaker. You take care of me. So I'm more than an advisor, I'm a trusted resource.
All right. So Ivan, there's some young people younger than us out there who are listening. So you get away with it because you said I got my shine on today. Okay, I can't get away with saying I'm young still. But there's some young people out there who are listening to us today, or maybe viewing us online. If they are thinking about a career as a financial planner, how would you tell them to get prepared to make that decision?
I don't believe this profession is for everyone. So with that being said, I've spoken to people about this industry, and as I was viewed coming into this industry, it's not a real job, I was told by family members who, you know, were in different arenas, right? That person has to have an entrepreneurial spirit. They have to understand this is not a 9 to 5, that you have to do what most people do so that you can live like most people don't. And that may be 60 hours. I know one Saturday, this is when we had phone clinics. I was there from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night, but I set 25 appointments, you know? So that's what you have to be willing to do. You have to be willing to put in the grunt work, so to say. It's not going to happen overnight unless, you know, you have a family of very wealthy people who are just going to give you that type of a start. So you're going to have to build. When I came to Atlanta, I knew 5 people, and 4 of them were family, right? And they weren't the family that I normally associate with, right?
Right.
Excuse me. But on my 5th anniversary at American Express, because I came here and I got married to American Express. On my 5th anniversary, I had 100 attendees, and the demographics were across the board. They were accumulators. They were people of all nationalities. And this was all through nurturing relationships and the referrals that I received from those relationships and the COIs that I developed from those relationships. When you don't have to ask for referrals, I get a phone call. I say hello to one of my clients. And she says, hey, I was thinking about you today. I said, why? She said, because you need to come by here. I don't ask her why I come. She hands me a check. Call this man. He needs to see you. So I said, what am I supposed to do with this check? Take him his paperwork.
So then all of the things that I've heard make me believe that based on the years of experience, and the more you talk, everybody's starting to clock in the years. So they know that you've had a tremendous career. what we really want to emphasize to everyone is that this is about hard work. This is about entrepreneurship. This is about helping people. This is about having the guts to do the work that's necessary to build nurturing relationships. Because if they do that, just like Mr. Ivan D. Johnson, financial planner, wealth consultant, many years from now, you'll look at your career and know that you have done the job that was necessary to help the people that needed your help most. Ivan, I thank you very much for taking the time to do this over the many years that you have done this. And I want to make sure that everybody in Atlanta knows how to reach you. So please, before we leave, let's get your contact information as far as your phone number, your address, where you are located, and your email address. Why don't you give that to everyone right now?
404-380-5977, not hard to remember.
Okay.
And my email address is D as in David, Johnson @heritagefinancialpartners.com. A little long.
Okay.
You can reach me on LinkedIn, Ivan Johnson, just the same.
All right then. And your office is located where?
I'm located right across from the King and Queens building here in the perimeter area, Sandy Springs. My address is 7000 Central Parkway, and I'm on the 16th floor in suite 1600. And that's right in the heart of the perimeter.
And he has one of the best views in Atlanta because I was just there. The sunset coming out of your windows there on the 16th floor is absolutely stunning. Ivan, thank you again for joining us today, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. And George, at this point in time, I'm going to say our plate is full.
And how do they contact you?
Oh, well, everybody should know, but it's Vicki case info@brackensfsn.com, area code 315-930-4499. And please look us up there on LinkedIn, subscribe, share, and join us there on Facebook and on YouTube every week.
All right. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. She is America's money maven.